That is very bold. That's very rich. Oh, it's very spicy. Valletta, honestly, is one of those places in Malta that gets prettier and prettier every time I see it. In today's episode of Lovin Streats, we'll be headed towards an icon of Maltese streets, a place with a very colourful history as well as a notorious reputation. Now, when I think of Strait Street, images of sailors docking in the nearby harbour and landing looking for a good time come to mind. Something that Maltese bartenders and barmaids were more than happy to give them. But it goes even further. The street was actually a red light district for a time, with some of the people, women of the night, meeting these aforementioned drunken sailors and spending the evening with them. Today, we'll be looking at the unpolished gem that is Strait Street. Now, live music has been a major part of the culture here in Strait Street since time immemorial. I mean, look right behind me, we've got a violinist rocking out to Guns N' Roses. It's pretty crazy. Back in the day, this was ground zero for jazz music from the US. It was pretty much like 1920s Great Gatsby up in Strait Street. Now, before we get into Strait Street proper, we need to stop off at a special little wine bar, a place that opened up about 20 years ago when the place was still a ghost town. Troubleshoot is renowned for its hams and cheeses. Before we get into the details, you know, Troubleshoot, very catchy name, it kind of rolls off the tongue. Is there a bit of a meaning behind it?
For sure. Well, Troubleshoot is it's a corkscrew in Maltese, and Maltese actually is Troubleshoot, okay, which derives from French word, Troubleshoot.
So, you know, when I spoke to some people really love this place. You know, you've got quite the reputation. And, you know, they told me that back in the day, 20 years ago, this is a bit of a ghost town, this area. Yeah. Why did you open up in such a quiet location?
So, I was 24, fell in love with the food, fell in love with wine, and fell in love with the capital city, which unfortunately was dead at night, busy during the day, but obviously was very, very dead at night. And there was need for establishments to open, restaurants, more bars, clubs.
So obviously, as we're seeing in front of us, you take your cheeses very seriously. Why such an emphasis on high quality cheeses and meats?
Obviously, 20 years ago, our selection of cheeses was limited, selection of wine was limited, and that's where Troubleshoot came in and obviously started trying to offer clients a better option. There's a selection of cheeses. We've got Maltese cheese, we've got French cheese, we've got Italian cheese. I emphasize a lot on French cheeses, fermier cheeses, which are not very easy to find, and I think are fantastic cheeses.
Okay, so we have started off our night on the right note. As you can see, it is literally nighttime, it is getting dark. Let's get into Strait Street. Okay guys, right now we're about to check out a bar that's been here since the 1950s and a young, fresh face has taken over it. Let's run into Loop Bar.
This bar has been here for apparently over 40, 45 years.
Wow.
And the best part of it at this bar, nothing has been changed.
So the tiles, right? Even the tiles.
The tiles, nothing has been changed. Everything is as it was.
So now that you've taken over this, you know, iconic place, everyone knows the name Loop Bar, what are your plans? Are you going to be switching it up? You've already told us a little bit about the aesthetic. What about the food?
The food, before it was a little bit more different. There was more like pasta and meat, but now I changed it a bit more soda stretta style, you know?
Okay.
The street is becoming more cozy and casual, you know, so I changed a bit the menu. I made a few platters and some rustic pizzas. And obviously I have to put a burger, you know?
Like this? Something like this?
Exactly.
What do we have in front of us?
This is a burrata and bresaola. It's called a pinza romana, we call it.
What is it like working in Strait Street? Obviously this has a lot of history, there's a lot of life, a lot of colourful personalities as well.
Well, Strait Street, before it was like red light district here, you know? So it's a very famous street, you know? But unfortunately for now, because of COVID, it kind of died a bit. So what we're doing is that we're trying to bring Strait Street back to life.
So next up, we're about to hit up a bar, an iconic bar that's literally door to door with Loop Bar. The chef taking over TCortico has showed up and we're going to sit down with him right now. Nick,
what's up, man?
Thanks so much for showing up. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So obviously, last time we saw you, you were working with New York Bistro. Everyone loves your stuff at Fat Louie's.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with TCortico in Strait Street?
Clint's been a good friend of mine. He got in touch with me. I had nothing to do at the time, and I said, let's do it. It's a fun project. TCortico deserves, you know, better food and to be on the map. So there's going to be Fat Louis influence, obviously, because that's me. But it's going to be lighter, smaller dishes, lots of sharing dishes, very strong Mediterranean influence, you know, like tapas without saying tapas.
When you decided, you know what, I'm going to take the plunge, did that cross your mind, like, this is a bit of a historic place?
Yes, of course. I mean, Strada Stretta has got loads of history, you know. So there's that backing it up, you know, that motivates you to make something special out of something that was special, you know, and just got forgotten.
Now, it is no secret that a lot of shady business used to go down in Strait Street. That said, somehow, even though it was a red light district, no women were ever murdered in Strait Street. However, 2 women were murdered in the vicinities. One of them was Mary Gregg, 28 years old, known as Mary Soda. Now, Mary worked as a barmaid in a bar on Strait Street. And after some investigations, it turned out that an American sailor was believed to be behind her stabbing. After he was tried, he was found having unbalanced mind and was sent to Mount Carmel. All right, boys and girls, as you can see, it is getting a little bit late and we're about to enter the third and final phase of today's episode. We're about to enter the gut. Now, until a few years ago, the gut, which is located at the end of Strait Street, was derelict. It was a dead zone. VBL Group, a Maltese company, decided to step up, invest, and rejuvenate. Now, as you can see, there's, you know, life behind me, there's music, there's food, and that's what we're actually here to check out. There are 5 epic restaurants right down here. We've got N Japanese Bistro, we've got Alchemy Cocktail Bar, we've got Sun Asian Fusion, we've got Silver Horse, and we've got the Kennedy Bar and Bistro. We're gonna hit up a few of those right now. I'm a bit hungry, I'm a bit thirsty, let's get our first one on. Now here in the gut, they take the legacy of Strait Street very seriously. Just look around me. I mean, you've got retro and vintage vibes all over the place. It's really easy to just kick back, sit back, relax, and just fall back in time.
We are at Silver Horse at the moment, and I like to call it Valletta's very best nightclub theater. And as you can see, it's quite amazing. We have burlesque sometimes here.
Wow.
We have all kinds of music like jazz, acoustic, open mic. We can try to do all sorts of music, you know.
Amazing. I mean, you mentioned jazz, you mentioned burlesque. These are things that, you know, Strait Street back in the day were very much known for, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. They were like the main thing here with all the barmaids and the sailors coming in, you know. It's all about history in Strait Street, and we have some, they used to call them landi here, and they used to use them barmaids.
Wow.
And to get paid and everything. This is called Strada Stretta. It's a signature cocktail from Silver Horse. It consists in gin, vodka, Baitra liqueur, Kinney, lime, and mint.
Oh, wow. Very Maltese, very Mediterranean. You've got that nice zesty flavor. Okay, so I've just had an epic cocktail in there, but I have space for another epic cocktail. That's why I'm heading to Alchemy. They're gonna stir something up for us, and it's gonna be lovely. Okay guys, so here we are at a place that takes cocktails very, very seriously. We've got bartender Mathieu here with us today.
Yeah, what are you doing by Simling?
So, where are we right now?
We are Alchemy in Strait Street. Sorry, pardon my French because I do have a thick French accent, sorry about that. So Strait Street, like a very old street, like it does have a huge background, but we did try to make it trendy again, so like to attract people again and to please people on a drinking way.
So, what are we whipping up today?
So it's like, usually by first I may like to try to please you with the slightly hot drinks, not hot by temps, but slightly spicy.
Okay.
Usually when spicy, it takes like usually the heat away.
Now what's really cool about Alchemy is not only do they take their cocktails very, very seriously, but they have this awesome private VIP room with cocktail service right here. Look at this beautiful concoction that the guy Mathieu whipped up for us downstairs. So this is obviously very extra, very, very fun to do. I've got this chilled goblet filled with this delectable concoction. Let's give it a try. Wow. It's very bold. That's very rich. Oh, it's very spicy. That chilled goblet goes perfectly with it. Ooh, that is very spicy. He was not lying about that kick. I love spice. You know what's really crazy is, in the 60s, after Malta became independent, the soldiers, American, British, they left the island, and Strait Street started to die. You know, bartenders didn't have anyone to bartend to. Dancers, entertainers, whether they were cross-dressers or doing burlesque, had no one to pay their bills anymore. Slowly, slowly, one by one, every location closed. I think TCortico is actually one of the last ones to close. Okay, so we're gonna be moving on to the final location of the night, and there's really only one way to end the night in style. That's with some fried chicken, and I gotta say, VBL, well done on what you've done to the gut. It is full of life and flavors. All right, boys and girls, so here we are in Sun. Like we said, they specialize in Korean and Asian food, and I've got one of my favorite Asian dishes in front of me. We've got this Korean fried chicken. Oh my God, it looks lovely. You know, after a bunch of drinking, after a night out, this is how you want to end the night. I'm about to bite. When it's the end of the night, decorum can go out the window. Forget about it. Get the food in your mouth. Get home safely. You know, I don't know if it's because I haven't been out in forever. I don't know if it's because this is the first time we've ever shot an episode at night, but it is good to see people out and about and feel the vibe in the air. And let me tell you, Strait Street in 2021 definitely has a vibe. Look, between all the food, between all the drinks, between all the characters that we met, it's very obvious that Strait Street is back, maybe stronger than ever. So I have to name this place Strait Street 2.0. Of course it is. Now, obviously, we've had a few drinks, we've had something to eat, so I am not gonna be driving home. I've got the legends from E-Cabs, ready and waiting, the best way to end a night out in Strait Street. Now, I'm gonna get in there before I run back and grab some more Korean chicken.